Okay guys, into this last video onto the vodka, it's a bonus track. I'm going to show you how to do this wonderful pack shot here. So this is the final result. We can even have a sided effect like this. It's up to you then after. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First you have to open the original packshot.png onto the platform, and I set up just some more room with the crop tool. So you press C and then I hold Alt in order to choose my size. So you're gonna see that approximately it's gonna be 20 on 30. Okay, something like this. So now I have to set a background. So I'm gonna go into the adjustment level and set a solid background. I'm gonna choose the black and drag and drop it just under. In order to have this kind of color here, there is a tiny trick that I use. I just put this button into the negative. Okay, so you can go to image mode and settings. In settings, you're gonna find negative. Okay, so you can also use the shortcut if you want. Okay, so you're gonna have this result. Okay, so there's already most of the work that are done actually. What we're going to do now is to manipulate a specific texture. So again, you're gonna have this texture onto the platform. It's called light texture. So I'm just drag and drop it into Photoshop. So now, as you can see, you're already just seeing this image here. I'm going to use a blending mode of Photoshop in order to make it transparent that way. You don't have to make the cutout of this element. Okay, so I'm going to use the screen blending mode, or you can also choose some other way, but I think this one it's very useful in this situation, and that's going to allow me to play with this texture all around the element. So my goal here is to make it turn around the bottle like this. Okay, so in order to do it, I'm gonna just duplicate my texture 2 times. So you're gonna right click duplicate or press Ctrl J in order to duplicate it. Okay, I'm gonna mask it for the moment. What I need to do here is just to use have a smarting use of the mask in this element. So you can choose as low the side that it go from left or to the right. So you can as low press Ctrl T, right click, and go for a horizontal flip. Okay, so that's gonna just make it in the other way. So now it's nearly ready. I'm gonna do the same for the other side. I'm gonna choose something like this. I'm just gonna flip it vertically here. So Ctrl T, right click, and vertical flip. So that's beginning to be interesting here. Maybe I can even modify it a little bit, just in order for, I want the texture to follow my bottle like this, so it's okay. So now we are going to use a trick in order to put it just in the top here and just behind after. So to do it, I'm gonna hold Control, click on my bottle, and you see that you got the active selection of your bottle here. But now what I need to do is to click again on this texture, so the light texture, copy that it's on the top, and I'm going to create a selection mask. Okay, so what I understand Photoshop is that you want to mask what was out of my selection. So I just want the exact contrary of this element. So again, I'm going to press Ctrl I in order to invert this element. Okay, Ctrl I, that's invert. If I'm showing you pressing Alt and clicking into the label, you can see that if I'm pressing Ctrl Alt, that do the exact contrary. Okay, so again, pressing Alt, click onto the label. So if I'm pressing Ctrl I now, you can see that it's go outside. But I want this texture that it's go on the top of this part. So I need to paint with the brush tool in a white color on this element, and you're gonna see that it's gonna appear again. Okay, if I'm painting all around this element, my texture is here again. Okay, but I just need to grab finally this line here in order to be able to paint, okay, and make disappear my texture to make it like if it was going on the front then behind. Okay, so that's, I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna create the mask, invert, and now I just have to check what is interesting to this part. I think this part is going to be interesting, and I'm gonna just erase this tiny tail that was around. So that's already kind of cool. Maybe we can just create some tiny effect, or you can warp this texture to make it just in the back of this element. So you can press Ctrl T, right click, warp this element. And what you can do here, so right click, sorry. Oh, it tells me that it's not authorized because I'm in a dynamic mask or this kind of element. What we can do is maybe just right click on this element and rasterize the layer. Okay, that don't change nothing into this element, but it's just allowing me to now warp this element. Okay, so now I'm gonna be able to pick this element and put it really to set up the element like I wish. Okay, so be careful because the line of the element is linked here. So if you don't want this kind of stuff, just have to cancel just to show you. You're gonna unlink here. And now I'm going to be able to free transform by warping this element, and you're going to see that the mask is not affected with my element. Okay, it's just affected by the things that I've choose before. So it's going to be more convenient to play with our texture. I just want to grab something like this, just in a just appear smoothly in this element. Okay, so I can even play differently with my texture. Okay, and just to finish this element, maybe I'm gonna again right click on this one just to show you. So it's not on the label, sorry, but it's really onto the layer that you could right click and rasterize the layer. Now I'm able to right click again onto the Ctrl T and warp this element. If I want something a little bit different, something like this, I forgot to unlink this element, and let's do it that way. Perfect, something like this. So now maybe we can add some kind of tiny light just under to make a reflection here. So what I'm advising to do, my light's going to be just under the bottle, so I'm going to click the background and I'm going to add a new fresh layer here. I'm going to don't pay attention to the light first. First, I'm going to create the texture, really the texture and really the shape of my element. So I'm just going to pick the brush, holding Alt with my left click. I'm dragging this to the right to make it bigger. Okay, so you don't pay special attention to the color here. I'm just going to click 1 or 2 times, then press Ctrl T, holding Alt plus Shift in order to be able to stretch it that way. Okay, so now I got my light here, but the color is not that great, and I think I'm going to need 2 light that way in order to have a shiny effect. So now it's going to be the time to choose a color. Okay, so I'm going to create solid layer. You can do that in a different way, but it's just another way to do that. You can, as low in this kind of area, create a new layer in this kind of case, and pick the color picker, select the color that you need, and then take the color picker, or you can just redo the same process. I mean, try to click, and then press Ctrl T, Alt plus Shift. Yes, you're gonna do something like this. Okay, but let's admit that now you want to change your color, you're not able to do it. Okay, you have to redo the process over and over and over. So the purpose of my technique here is to show you how we can transform, for example, this color, just to show you and to have more room in order to work the way you want. Okay, it's already cool. I mean, without even the texture, the effects could be cool here. But it's just for the sake of showing you. You can, for example, set the 2 elements here into a new group, into a folder, and you can create another, for example, whatever kind of layer actually that's work with all of them. For example, hue saturation. You're gonna create a clipping mask, and now that's gonna be playing just on the element that are into your folder. Okay, so that's really cool because it's very flexible. Okay, so whatever color you get into your group, now you're going to be able to manipulate the color here, or you can change your mind. For example, I just want something like a curve or light and contrast or something like this. I'm going to use a curve here just to show you. I'm going to suppress this one, Again, you get the same tiny option for create a clipping mask, and with the curve you can enhance the color. For example, you can see that it's going to be very bright or darker. Okay, maybe I want something a little bit darker that way. Okay, so you're gonna see how it was before, how it is now. So it's really up to you, but I think it's could be useful to know this kind of manipulation. So here we go, that's done with our black vodka version. Hope you like it, and hope you are gonna have lots of fun with this kind of manipulation. Thank you and see you.